Hey there, it's Leslie at Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and today I have another pumpkin with a bow for you. Here are all the cookies in the set. Be sure to check them out. So I actually have the STL files for all of these cookie cutters on my website. So if you have a 3D printer and you want to make these cookies along with me, I'll leave a link in the description so you can check that out. So I'm just going to outline and flood in the 2 loops of the bow that are in the back here with a 15-second royal icing. And then I'm going to scribe it with my scribe and settle the icing down and get it down to the cookie so I don't have any craters. And then we'll let that dry for a while we move down to the pumpkin. And so I have a really light green here, and I'm just going to outline and flood in the sections and then use my scribe as always to shape it. And so I'm not going to flood in the section that's right next to that. I'm going to skip a section because I want there to be some areas of separation. I want there to be definite start and stop points for all of these sections. So I let them dry for about 20 minutes, and now I'm going to go back in and flood in the sections that are touching. And if you've watched my other videos, you know I like to use a 15-second royal icing for both outlining and flooding, and then use my scribe to move the icing around and settle it down. As my husband would say, you gotta scribe it. Then I'm going to let that dry for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to come back in and take the pink again and put in the tails of the bow. And once again, using my scribe to get the icing out to the points and to smooth the icing out. I'll do the same thing on the other side. And yes, I'll scribe it. So I set this cookie aside to dry for another 15 to 20 minutes, and now I can come in and add in the 2 front bow loops. And once again, I will use my scribe and then set the cookie back aside to dry. And then using my stiff royal icing, I will make some lines for the stem, kind of curling them over the top and just putting in several lines to make a nice thick stem. And then I can put in the center of the bow, using my scribe in an up and down motion to make sure that the icing gets all the way down to the cookie so it doesn't crater later. And then I put my cookie aside to dry overnight, and now it's the next day, and I'm coming back in with some Americolor food gel, thinned down with some food grade glycerin and a fine tip paintbrush, and I'm just going to add some color in the lines in between all of the creases of the cookie and along the bottom where there would be some shadows. And then I'll take a flat brush that's dry and just drag the color up and into the cookie and kind of blend it in for a much softer look. And I can keep adding color and building color as needed until I get it looking the way I want to. The reason why I use food grade glycerin is because it doesn't dry as quickly, and it allows me more workable time than if I had used a vodka or an alcohol. So I always thin my gel colors down with food grade glycerin for painting, unless I know exactly what I'm going to be doing and I'm not going to be doing any blending and I just want to put a drop of color real fast. So here's a more close-up view of my process. I'm using the Americolor Dusty Rose, again thinned with some food grade glycerin, and I just want to make some bow loops at the bottom of these bows here so that you can kind of see like the inside area. So I'm kind of just giving it dimension, and then I'm going to use my paintbrush to make some fat lines across the bow in a plaid pattern, and I'll just go ahead and do those lines across all of the different bow loops and the tails. And when you're thinning down your color with the glycerin, you can use more glycerin if you want a lighter shade and less glycerin if you want it to be a darker shade. And you can also go back and add just straight food gel on top of the glycerin painted lines that we've done if you want them to be darker or to have some areas of more dimension. That's kind of what I'm doing here with the bow loops, is just adding some straight color, straight Americolor gel right on top of the glycerin areas that I've already painted, because they're still going to dry and be just fine, but it gives a little bit darker color. If you don't thin your gel color down with anything, it kind of just stays sticky on your cookie forever. So you're going to want to thin it down with something before painting, but it just has to be just barely a little bit. And just keep adding color until you have your bow the way you like it. And then this cookie will be done. I think these pumpkin cookies with the bows are just absolutely adorable. I hope that you agree. And again, the cookie cutter STL file is available on my website, and be sure to check out the other videos in the series. I'll leave links in the description. And then I have a Halloween Gnomies cookie decorating class. If you want to do a little bit of a deeper dive and learn more, this is appropriate for all skill levels. We make some of the cutest gnome cookies, and it's really a lot of fun. I hope that you join me for that. The link is in the description so you can get more details. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.